Welcome to NPJR, where we explore the great outdoors one national park unit at a time. I'm Justin.
And I'm Robin. We encourage you to pause the podcast at any time and discuss some of our talking points or try answering our trail trivias. Today, we're heading back to Glacier National Park to pick up where we left off in our Glacier National Park episode.
In these Trail Lovers episodes, we typically cover fun and interesting facts about the area like we do in our regular episodes. We also share more about our travels to these destinations, offering first-hand accounts and focusing on tips and activities we believe will enhance your experience at the park.
These episodes are by trail lovers for trail lovers. When we visit parks, we try to do as many of the hikes as we can and pair the trail time with some of the other highlights of the park.
Nature. A growing body of research highlights the many health benefits of spending time in nature, reducing stress, promoting healing, and enhancing overall well-being. Studies show that people who feel more connected to the natural world tend to be happier and more likely to describe their lives as meaningful. Nature fosters positive emotions like calm, joy, and creativity, and it can even improve focus and concentration. Of course, it's important to take precautions. Protect yourself from UV rays, ticks, and other outdoor hazards, but make the effort to connect with nature. Encouraging and inspiring people to spend more time in the great outdoors is one of the core reasons we started this podcast.
During our adventures in our camper, affectionately named Stargazer, we used to regularly average hiking about 6 miles a day, often choosing trails with scenic vistas and elevation gains between 800 and 1,400 feet. We were in great hiking shape, and some days, like when we explored the Sawtooths in Idaho or tackled Colorado 14ers, conveniently in our backyard, we'd stretch those hikes to over 10 miles.
But those days are feeling further behind us now. Nearly 2 years since returning home to prepare for our now 18-month-old daughter's due date. While we still strive to hike regularly and keep trail time a priority, our hikes look different these days. We let our daughter walk as much as she wants, taking in the world at her own pace. As a result, logging high mileage has become more challenging. And even with our fantastic backpack carrier I tote to haul the little one, we're a bit behind where we thought we'd be in our Nature Miles challenge. Still, we're on track to reach our goal of 100 self-propelled miles by either walking, running, hiking, biking, swimming, or paddling. If you haven't heard, we go into full detail about the challenge in our Hot Springs National Park episode.
This slower pace has shifted our perspective. A friend of mine who lives in Chicagoland participates in the 1,000 Hours Outside Challenge with her kids every year, and it's inspired us to embrace the value of simply being outdoors, no matter the pace or distance. We'll complete our 100 miles, it just won't be in a few short weeks like it once was. It'll likely take the rest of the year, and that's okay. So if you love the outdoors but find a mileage goal out of reach right now, we invite you to join us in celebrating the simple joy of being outside. Whether it's for miles or for moments, every bit of time spent in nature counts. Here at NPJR, we truly believe there's no better place to experience the great outdoors in July and August than Glacier National Park.
Exploring Glacier. Within the contiguous U.S., Glacier comes in as the 5th largest national park by acreage. Only the Grand Canyon, Everglades, Yellowstone, and Death Valley are larger. With over 700 miles of trails and countless unique experiences, we had so much to share that this Trail Lovers episode became a natural extension of our Glacier National Park episode. We recommend listening to that episode first, then coming back to this one. They're really two parts of the same story. But if you're here mainly for the hiking and trail adventures, you're in the right place. Just keep listening. Access to Glacier is convenient from several regional airports, including Glacier Park International Airport in Kalispell, Montana. Visitors can also arrive by train via Amtrak's Empire Builder. which stops at the historic East Glacier Park station. For those exploring nearby regions, shuttle services within the park and private tours provide eco-friendly options to navigate its vast landscapes without personal vehicles.
Since we were traveling with our camper and have a very fuel-efficient car for day trips, I opted to plan our routes in detail and drive ourselves throughout the park. While some areas have congested traffic and limited parking, which comes with its own set of challenges, we value the flexibility to explore at our own pace without being tied to shuttle schedules. For us, that freedom was worth the trade-off. Be sure to acquire your timed entry ticket to be able to access the park.
Glacier is a hiker's paradise. Popular routes include the Highline Trail, offering panoramic views of the Continental Divide, and the Grinnell Glacier Trail, which leads to one of the park's most iconic glaciers. For those seeking solitude, backcountry permits allow treks through the park's most remote areas.
There are 3 visitor centers conveniently located throughout the park, none of which are open year-round. On the east side, St. Mary Visitor Center is adjacent to the St. Mary entrance on Going to the Sun Road near the town of St. Mary on U.S. Highway 89 on the Blackfeet Reservation. This visitor center is open daily from late May through early October. The Apgar Visitor Center is at the 4-way stop intersection of Camas Road and Going to the Sun Road, approximately 2 miles north of the west entrance near the town of West Glacier, Montana. Open daily mid-May to mid-October, and weekends in fall, spring, and winter as staffing allows. This location sits right next to the park's largest lake, Lake McDonald. In the middle of the park at the highest point along Going to the Sun Road sits Logan Pass Visitor Center, approximately 32 miles from the west entrance and 18 miles from the St. Mary entrance, and is open daily during peak season. Each visitor center offers unique wildlife and wildflower viewing opportunities, ranger-led programs, bookstores and gift shops, and many other amenities like astronomy programs and shuttle services.
One animal highlight before we discuss some of our time at Glacier. Ptarmigan, masters of seasonal camouflage in the alpine wilderness. Ptarmigan are remarkable birds that live in some of the harshest, most remote alpine environments across North America, Europe, and Asia. In Glacier, the white-tailed ptarmigan is the only bird species that can spend its entire life above treeline, thriving in high-elevation habitats even in the dead of winter. These elusive birds are part of the grouse family and are known not only for their ability to withstand cold, but also for their incredible camouflage, which changes with the seasons. Trail trivia. How many times per year does a ptarmigan molt? Twice.
One of the most fascinating adaptations of ptarmigan is their seasonal plumage. To survive in an environment where snow blankets the ground for much of the year, ptarmigan molt their feathers twice annually. In the winter, they are cloaked in pure white feathers that allow them to blend almost invisibly into snow-covered terrain, helping them avoid predators like golden eagles, foxes, and other carnivores. As the snow melts in the spring and summer, ptarmigan undergo a second molt. Their feathers shift to mottled brown and gray tones, which match the rocky alpine tundra and vegetation. This seasonal transformation is crucial to their survival and is one of the most striking examples of natural camouflage in the bird world.
In addition to their changing plumage, ptarmigan have other cold weather adaptations. They grow feathered feet in the winter, which act like snowshoes, helping them to walk across snow without sinking. These foot feathers also provide insulation against the cold. Ptarmigan tend to conserve energy during extreme weather by burrowing into snowdrifts, which serve as natural shelters.
Ptarmigan are relatively small, round birds with short tails and stocky bodies. They feed mostly on buds, twigs, berries, and alpine vegetation, foraging low to the ground. Their diet shifts slightly with the seasons, and during winter, they rely heavily on willow and dwarf birch twigs, when other food sources are buried under snow.
While ptarmigan are not commonly seen due to their remote habitats and effective camouflage, hikers in places like Glacier might be lucky enough to spot one, like we were, along high elevation trails such as the Hidden Lake Overlook or near Ptarmigan Tunnel, a place named, fittingly, after this iconic alpine species. A quick note about the Ptarmigan Tunnel. This 250-foot-long passage was completed in 1930 to provide a route for guides and tourist horses between the Belly River region and the mini glacier area. The crew accomplished the excavation using just 2 jackhammers and a series of 10-hole rounds of dynamite, an impressive feat given the challenging alpine terrain.
The ptarmigan's ability to adapt so thoroughly to its environment through feather color, insulation, and behavior is a perfect example of how wildlife evolves to survive in extreme conditions. These birds remind us of the fragile yet resilient nature of alpine ecosystems and the importance of protecting the high mountain habitats where they live.
One of the many reasons Glacier National Park tops our list of favorite places is its vast, pristine wilderness and the hundreds of miles of trails that offer access to remote, untouched landscapes. In a world more crowded than ever before, with a global population approaching 8.3 billion as of this recording, the value of wild, protected spaces continues to grow. According to worldometers.info, today the world will experience approximately 150,000 human deaths, but over 385,000 births, resulting in a daily net increase of nearly 235,000 people. Trail trivia. How many people will be added to the total world's population this year? About 70 million.
By the end of 2025, an estimated 65 million people will have passed away in the calendar year, while about 135 million will be born, a net gain of roughly 70 million new inhabitants on Earth this year alone. During the 20th century alone, the global population grew from 1.65 billion to 6 billion. In 1970, the world had roughly half as many people as it does today. However, due to declining growth rates, it is now projected to take over 200 years for the population to double again.
World population reached 8 billion people in the first half of 2022, according to the United Nations. World population is expected to hit 9 billion in the year 2037. And the United Nations projects the world population will reach 10 billion in the year 2060.
It's remote places like Glacier and many of our national park units that give people from densely populated cities the chance to experience nature in a way that has remained unchanged for centuries, even millennia. That's why we believe it's so important to keep as much of our protected lands truly protected, wild, undeveloped, and preserved for future generations. Only by safeguarding these natural spaces can we offer the rare opportunity to reconnect with their ancestral roots, to experience what it might have felt like thousands of years ago to walk through a landscape untouched by noise pollution, litter, or the constant bustle of urban life.
I'll be posting a video to our Instagram of a truly unforgettable moment. While quietly sitting and taking in the peaceful view of Hidden Lake and Bear Hat Mountain from the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail, a 2.4-mile round trip with 770 feet elevation gain, a nanny mountain goat and her kid unexpectedly approached. To be clear, we did not approach them. They came from what was initially a safe distance. This serves as an important reminder to always give wildlife plenty of space and to check the park's website for species-specific distance guidelines. That said, being approached by such iconic animals in such a breathtaking setting was an awe-inspiring moment, one that perfectly captures the beauty, wonder, and wild magic of Glacier National Park.
That wasn't our only unexpected wildlife encounter during our visit to Glacier, which was actually my second time there. On one hike, a bighorn sheep rounded a corner and briefly approached us, unbothered by our presence. She confidently used the trail until she decided to take a different path, even though it seemed we were on the one she initially wanted. A more intense moment happened at the start of the Grinnell Lake Trail when we came face to face with a large grizzly bear, also around a bend. The surprise seemed mutual. Justin calmly readied the bear spray as we were uncomfortably close, but we stayed composed and slowly backed away. After a tense pause, the bear suddenly turned and jumped into Swift Current Lake, swimming off. Glacier offered us so many unforgettable experiences, and these close encounters with wildlife are memories we'll never forget.
I'll be posting videos and photos of both the bighorn sheep and grizzly encounters. These moments are powerful reminders that no matter how prepared or cautious we are guests in these animals' homes. It's essential to stay aware, respectful, and be responsible stewards of the wild places we are privileged to explore.
The Going to the Sun Road is a must-see for anyone visiting the park. This engineering marvel traverses 50 miles of stunning mountain landscapes crossing the Continental Divide at Logan Pass. Along the way, visitors can stop at overlooks, hike short trails, and marvel at cascading waterfalls and glacial vistas. Going to the Sun Road was a major highlight of our visit. Not only were we able to reach the top by timing our trip with the seasonal opening of the road, but we also had the rare opportunity to bike nearly 8 miles up this steep, iconic route before it fully opened to motor vehicles. Riding without the concern of cars or trucks made for an unforgettable experience. Our full suspension mountain bikes were just not the best equipment for this specific ride. Ultimately, the best bike type for you will depend on your fitness level and preferences. E-bikes provide the most accessibility, while gravel bikes offer a more challenging and rewarding experience for those who enjoy a strenuous climb. Next time, we will look into renting e-bikes for this one, and ideally make it all the way to the top.
If you're planning a visit, definitely look into biking this road. While the exact opening date of Going to the Sun Road varies each year due to weather and snowpack, it's well worth the effort to try and experience both the biking and driving perspectives of this spectacular route. The highest point along the road is Logan Pass, located on the Continental Divide. This is also where you'll find the trailhead, just outside of the Logan Pass Visitor Center, to the Hidden Lake Overlook, a must-see destination offering stunning views of Bear Hat Mountain, if you're able to make the hike.
When I planned the Glacier National Park portion of our Stargazer adventures, I allotted 3 weeks in the area during the month of July, 1 on the east side and 2 on the west. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, having a fully remote job has been the key to allow for these types of extended trips. Spending 3 weeks in and around Glacier only made us want to spend more time there. We plan to go back in either 2026 or 2027 and are already excited to tell you all about our adventures. Glacier is a park that requires advanced planning as campsites and lodging fill up quickly. We stayed at St. Mary Campground, Site C111 in Loop C, a spot that stands out in our memories not just for its central location on the east side of the park, right at the start of Going to the Sun Road, 30 minutes from Many Glacier and about an hour from Two Medicine, but for the friendships we made there.
It was at this campsite that we met 2 people that would become good friends, Adam and Ashley from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Back then, our dogs, a beagle named Christian and a boxer named Athena, were still with us. While I was walking Athena around the campground, her friendly nature and Ashley's love of dogs sparked an instant connection. Robin and I spent much of the rest of our Glacier adventure hiking and exploring with Ashley and Adam, and we still look back fondly on those shared experiences. Playing Rummy Cube by the campfire, learning about fire lookout towers together, gathering at their yurt rental and quorum to share stories, common interests, and the day's adventures, and hiking many, many miles side by side. These moments made our time together truly special. It's also a reminder that one friendly moment, like someone showing interest in your dog, or some small talk on a trail or in the campground, can lead to a lasting friendship. National parks are special places filled with like-minded people who share a love for the outdoors and a desire to protect wild spaces. Take the opportunity to connect with others in these settings. You never know when a simple interaction might spark a meaningful bond that stands the test of time.
Some excerpts from my travel journal. On our first day, we hiked the Sia Pass Trail, a challenging 9-mile route. Due to lingering snowpack, we completed only a portion of it, but we had the entire trail to ourselves. The air was filled with the incredible scent of Douglas fir, and the path was completely shaded by trees. On our way back to the campground, we took the short half-mile hike to Bering Falls in the gorge, then stopped at one of our favorite viewpoints on the east side of the park, Wild Goose Island Overlook. It's a stunning spot, especially for catching a great sunset.
Numerous lakes, including Lake McDonald, St. Mary Lake, and Two Medicine Lake, offer opportunities for boat tours, kayaking, and canoeing. Guided boat tours provide insight into the park's geology, history, and wildlife. Continuing from the travel journal. The next day, we took the Two Medicine boat tour and hiked to Upper Two Medicine Lake, a 4.4-mile round-trip hike. We took the 10 a.m. boat ride across Two Medicine Lake, which lasted about 30 minutes and included a short, informative tour of the area. We learned from a ranger that bear grass blooms for just about a week and a half every 5 to 7 years, so we felt lucky to see so many in full bloom.
From the boat drop-off, we hiked to Twin Falls, a short 0.1-mile spur off the main trail to Upper Two Medicine Lake. At one point, we reached a small lake and even spotted a moose, thinking we had made it to our destination. We stopped a little farther along at a large rock to have lunch and soak in the views before starting our return. About 20 minutes down the trail, I checked the map and realized we had just missed the actual lake. We ended up trail running back up to see it properly, then hurried back to the boat dock. Of course, the return boat was full, our luck, so we cooled off in the water and relaxed in the sun until the next one arrived. On our way back to the campground, we hiked Apostoke Falls Trail, which is 1.2 miles, 260 feet elevation gain. It offered a small waterfall view at the top, and on the way down we saw mountain goats.
At the time of year we visited, the Grinnell Glacier Trail was still closed due to snow, which is why we have to go back to hike this one. Instead, we opted for the Grinnell Lake hike, a beautiful 7-mile round trip. We stopped to admire the stunning Mini Glacier Hotel, which made us feel like we had been transported to Switzerland.
As we began the hike past Swift Current Lake, this was where we had our first encounter with a grizzly bear, which we mentioned, and an unforgettable adrenaline rush. We continued on past Lake Josephine and eventually reached Grinnell Lake, a breathtaking crystal blue lake framed by mountains and cascading waterfalls. We had lunch perched on a large fallen tree and took in the view. On the way back, we planned to loop around the other side of the lake, but that trail had been closed due to that same bear we had encountered earlier that morning. Instead, we detoured onto the horse trail and made our way back to the hotel. This was definitely one of our favorite hikes in the park.
The Red Rock Falls hike is another must. A 3.6-mile round trip, only 100 feet elevation gain, and starts at the Swift Current trailhead. This day was a particularly rainy one, so we got a later start with rain gear in tow. We headed back to the Mini Glacier area, navigating a few miles of gravel and dirt road.
We parked at the Swift Current Motor Inn and took the Swift Current Pass Trail to reach Red Rock Falls, a spectacular waterfall that tumbles over striking red rock known as Grinnell argillite, found only in this part of Montana and British Columbia. This ended up being our favorite waterfall in the area.
A picture of this is highlighted on our Patreon page as our background picture. Our Patreon page is still a work in progress, but you can find the link in the show notes. www.patreon.com/NPJRpodcast. If you choose to support us at the Junior Ranger level, currently our only tier, we'll send you an official NPJR sticker as a thank you. We plan to add more support levels in the future, along with that, bonus content for our amazing supporters.
Any support is deeply appreciated and helps offset the costs of subscriptions and tools we use to keep the podcast running. Thank you in advance for considering a contribution. It helps us continue our mission to educate about nature, advocate for the protection of wild spaces, and inspire people of all ages to explore the great outdoors. Back to our time at Glacier. The Appoquinee Falls Trail, a 2-mile round-trip hike starting from the Appoquinee parking area, is located 1.1 miles east of the Many Glacier Hotel. With an elevation gain of about 650 feet in just under a mile, it's definitely a workout, but well worth it for the impressive waterfall and the scenic lake views.
Astor Falls is a 2.4-mile round-trip hike with about 100 feet elevation gain, starting from the South Shore trailhead. After checking out of the campsite, we parked the camper along our route and drove the car back to the Two Medicine area for a longer day of hiking, about 8 miles total, combining Paradise Point, Astor Falls, and Rockwell Falls. The spur to the Paradise Point adds 0.8 miles, but both waterfalls are absolutely worth it. As we finished the hike, the skies opened up and it started pouring.
Our mileage that day was modest compared to Ashley and Adam's biggest hiking day when they logged over 22 miles on the trails. It wasn't a competition, just an impressive reflection of their eagerness to experience as much of the park as possible. Since we had more time in the area, we were able to spread our mileage out over more days. Later, we made a quick stop at Running Eagle Falls, just a short 0.5-mile round trip on a paved, accessible path. After that, we picked up the camper and began the drive toward the west side of the park, half of it in a steady downpour.
In the Lake McDonald area, we hiked the Apgar Lookout, 7 miles round trip, 1,850 feet elevation gain, near West Entrance, Lake McDonald Trailhead. We say this a lot, but this is one of our favorite hikes. It's a pretty good workout with a few switchbacks that are in total sun, and it was very buggy along the way. We only saw 2 other groups on the trail. At the top is a fire lookout and amazing views of the surrounding mountains and Lake McDonald.
Trail of the Cedars and Avalanche Lake. 4.6 miles round trip and an absolute favorite hike of Glacier, so much so that this was my second time doing it. We hiked this with Adam and Ashley. The Avalanche campground was closed, so we were able to park in the campground, and there were a ton of spots. This is probably one of the busiest hikes in the park. Follows a rushing creek through the forest along lots of lush green moss into the gorgeous Avalanche Lake with huge waterfalls pouring down. Fish Lake, 5.8 miles, 1,300 feet gain. We hiked this with a lone gentleman, but other than that, we were the only ones on the trail. Completely forested trail carpeted with lush green moss and tons of mushrooms, mainly found large coral mushrooms. There were some buggy spots and lots of mosquitoes at the lake. The lake was small but full of flowering lily pads.
The Cyclone Lookout hike in the Flathead National Forest is 2.2 miles each way with an 1,100 feet elevation gain. It was Robin's second time doing this one, but for Ashley, Adam, and myself, it was our first. This trail has a stunning payoff at the end, but lies outside the park boundaries. It is worth the extra effort to get there. Beautiful views of the North Fork Valley, Bowman Lake, and mountains all the way to Canada. It is above treeline and at the top lies an active fire lookout. We met Inez, a volunteer that stays in there for 2 weeks at a time, the sweetest woman and the cutest little place. She showed us how they coordinate and report smoke when they see it.
Huckleberries are a major highlight in this part of the country, and we love foraging for them on hikes. If you're not comfortable identifying wild edibles on your own, we have a delicious recommendation. Try the huckleberry pie from the Huckleberry Patch in Hungry Horse, Montana. Of all the places we sampled pie, this one stood out. It was absolutely loaded with fruit and hands down our favorite. Next, we will discuss more of Glacier and learn some things we didn't have time to cover in the previous Glacier episode.
Dark night skies at Glacier. Dark night skies, free from light and air pollution, are essential to natural ecosystems, cultural heritage, and scenic beauty. Many animals rely on darkness to hunt, navigate, and reproduce, while artificial light disrupts both animal behavior and plant cycles.
Culturally, night skies have guided human understanding for millennia. Montana tribes, for example, observed the stars to inform their seasonal movements and land use. The sky remains a powerful source of indigenous knowledge.
Today, 80% of Americans can't see the Milky Way from home. If light pollution continues to grow, few truly dark skies will remain in the U.S. Glacier and Waterton Lakes National Parks, recognized as International Dark Sky Parks, are committed to preserving this rare resource. The designation reflects efforts to protect nocturnal habitats, restore night skies, and educate the public about their value.
To help visitors experience this wonder, the park offers night sky programs in partnership with the Glacier Conservancy, the NPS Night Sky Program, the International Dark Sky Association, and the Big Sky Astronomy Club. Events are held throughout the summer at St. Mary and Apgar, with occasional star parties at Logan Pass. Check the ranger-led activity schedule for dates. Can't stay up late? Visit the Dusty Star Observatory Skycam or browse Glacier's stunning night sky photos and telescope images on Flickr. Half the park happens after dark. Don't miss it.
Wilderness in Glacier. Guard, protect, and cherish your land, for there is no afterlife for a place that started out as heaven. A quote from Charlie Russell. Wallace Stegner once wrote, "If the national park idea is, as Lord Bryce suggested, the best idea America ever had, wilderness preservation is the highest refinement of that idea." Instead of a junior ranger activity, today we want to highlight the Wilderness Act of 1964, which established the National Wilderness Preservation System to protect designated federal lands in their natural state. It defines wilderness as undeveloped land that retains its primeval character, free from permanent structures or human habitation, and managed to preserve its natural conditions.
The Act emphasizes the importance of solitude and opportunities for primitive recreation, ensuring that these wild places are protected for the enjoyment and benefit of both current and future generations. In 1973, Glacier National Park completed a study and environmental impact statement in accordance with the Wilderness Act. The result was a recommendation that over 90% of the park be formally designated as wilderness. On June 13, 1974, President Richard Nixon submitted this proposal to Congress, recommending that over 927,000 acres within the park receive official wilderness designation.
Although a bill was introduced to enact the designation, it was never passed. However, the National Park Service continues to manage these recommended wilderness areas as if they were officially designated, in line with the NPS policy, until Congress makes a final decision. The Wilderness Act defines wilderness as those lands where The earth and its community of life are untrammeled by man, where man himself is a visitor who does not remain. A trammel is a shackle or net used to restrain and restrict movement. Land that is untrammeled, as described by the Act, is unhindered, free from the manipulation of humankind.
Wilderness is natural. The park wilderness is managed to maintain its natural ecology. The vast glacially carved valleys and peaks you see today, with the lush variety of vegetation and the amazing array of native wildlife species, are much the same as they were hundreds, if not thousands, of years ago.
Wilderness has outstanding opportunities for solitude or a primitive and unconfined type of recreation. There are many ways to experience the park's wilderness, from hiking, horseback riding, climbing, backpacking, or watching the diverse array of wildlife that call Glacier's wilderness home. The Wilderness Act does more than establish protected lands. In what is perhaps the Act's most vital accomplishment, it articulates a philosophy of wilderness that emphasizes not only a responsibility for environmental preservation, but also the importance of wilderness to the well-being of our nation's citizens.
Human influence has created a wide range of cultural resources found in Glacier. These include archaeological sites, modern Native American ceremonial sites and ethnographic places of importance, and historic park administration structures. Glacier encompasses over 200 known prehistoric sites. The Chief Mountain and Two Medicine areas continue to be important ceremonial and religious focal points for members of the Blackfeet Nation. The Kootenai perceive significant meanings along the Trail of the Cedars, among other areas near Lake McDonald, and within the park. These features add to the rich tapestry of Glacier's wilderness character.
Park stewards face a complex challenge in managing wilderness areas. They must consider all 5 qualities of wilderness character when making decisions, understanding that enhancing one quality may unintentionally impact another. For example, a project aimed at restoring the natural quality, such as removing invasive plant species, may compromise the untrammeled quality since it involves direct human intervention. While the goal is to preserve or restore ecological integrity, it also manipulates the existing environment.
Humility and restraint are essential guiding principles in wilderness management. Ultimately, the stewardship of Glacier's wilderness focuses on maintaining and improving the overall wilderness character. It's important to note that wilderness lands are managed differently than general backcountry areas, with greater emphasis on preservation and minimal human impact.
Even though we chose to skip the Junior Ranger activity today, we highly encourage you to visit the Glacier National Park NPS website. It's full of engaging activities and resources to help you learn about this incredible park. Despite dedicating the entire month of July to Glacier here on the podcast, we've only just scratched the surface. To explore more, go to the NPS website, navigate to the Learn About the Park drop-down menu, find Kids and Youth, and then click on Park Fun. There, you'll find a variety of fun and educational materials. Be sure to check out the Wildlife Superpowers PDF. You'll be amazed at what you can learn. Which wildlife superpower would you choose?
Glacier National Park is more than just a breathtaking landscape. It's a living, evolving testament to the power of nature, time, and preservation. From its towering peaks carved by ancient ice to its iconic turquoise lakes fed by glacial melt, the park stands as one of the last truly wild and pristine ecosystems in the lower 48 states. Glacier offers unparalleled access to alpine meadows, roaring waterfalls, and remote backcountry that invites exploration and reflection.
What makes Glacier truly special isn't just its scenery. It's the sense of timelessness and solitude it offers in a rapidly changing world. It is a place where the rhythms of nature still dictate life, and where conservation efforts continue to protect its fragile ecosystems for future generations. Whether it's the haunting beauty of a retreating glacier, the awe of a dark night sky undisturbed by city lights, or the joy of sharing the trail with new friends and wildlife alike, Glacier leaves an impression that endures. It is not just a destination, it is an experience, a reminder of what wild places mean to us all, and why they are worth protecting.
If you haven't visited Glacier yet, we hope this inspired you to add it to your bucket list. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, share, and follow us for more outdoor adventures. And to all you junior rangers out there, good luck on earning your badge. And hey, if you've earned the Junior Ranger badge recently, send us a picture. We'd love to see it.
And if you want, feel free to share your latest story from your time in a national park unit. Who knows? Maybe we will mention it in one of our upcoming episodes. Be sure to include in the email that you grant us permission to share your story. I will include our email address, npjrpodcast@gmail.com, in our show notes. And feel free to follow us on our adventures on Instagram @npjrpodcast. Until next time, happy trails. And remember, the earth is ours to explore and protect. So let's get out there and do it.
Explore.
Learn.
And protect.